I'm Daniela.
Hello,
Elana.
I'm Daniela.
And you're listening to episode 91 of Historical Paranormal. In this week's episode, we'll discuss the strange cases of chain letters. We all remember a time when a creepy post or long-winded email painted an elaborate story, urging you to share it. Sharing is a powerful thing on the internet, and individual people and companies alike will go above and beyond to harvest cheap interactions. One of the easiest ways for posters to convince users to share their messages is by asking directly. Sharing is a powerful thing on the internet, and individual people and companies alike will go above and beyond to harvest cheap interactions. For posters to convince users to share their messages is by asking directly. Adding in another emotional factor is a great push to offer an incentive for users to forward the post along. It's common for a chain mail to promise terrifying or chain mail, also known as chain emails or chain letters, refers to messages aimed at getting recipients to send out or forward a specific number of. While some use this media as a platform for scams, these messages usually don't serve much more than getting notoriety and getting shares. This phenomena even existed before the age of the internet, where individuals prompted people to send out physical letters to people. The tactic was a staple for classic pyramid schemes back in the day. The content of these messages is often more than your traditional spam, though nowadays the type of messages people are more likely to share involve chain emails that make a promise to those who pass or fail to pass their messages along. Most of us receive at one time or another through social media our spam folders. Usually they start out detailing a story and quickly shift gears into what will happen to you depending on your reaction to the post. There are some innocent posts claiming things like 10 years ago today, a young man saved a dog. Share 10 people in an hour and you'll have good fortune. Don't share if you don't want massive debt. While certainly convincing, they aren't nearly as alarming as some of the more notorious chain messages. Sometimes original authors bring their scare tactics up to the next level. Horror chain letters meant to scare you help develop urban legends, and even horror movies about these. Stories normally start with a warning, urging you to continue or else, which of course just entices readers to go on. They tell of some generic story like a girl who was bullied and found in a well, or a star athlete who disappears one day. They always end up with a scary threat relating to the story, like send this message to 5 friends before midnight, or XX will be waiting at the foot of your bed. The last person who didn't do it died. When a chain letter serves an obvious purpose, it's easy to connect them back with their owner. If you receive a chain letter that's an obvious marketing stunt or recruitment tactic, it's easy to see why someone sent them. Truthfully, it's almost impossible to find out where they originate. These messages circulate between so many people it can become challenging to pinpoint who sends it out first. If the original sender doesn't gain any personal fame or fortune, why would they start something like a chain message? Some people find doing these things fun and festive and don't care for the credit. When you think about what a chain message is, many of us laugh at how stupid they sound. No random writer on the internet locked us into some weird curse by creating chain messages. Of course, it's easier to sneer at these messages when you aren't the one opening it up alone in the middle of the night, reading about how a person just like you didn't take it seriously and met their demise shortly after. It's not crazy to think that something bad happened to someone who broke a chain message by refusing to pass it along. However, it's very extreme to assume that it was at the fault of the chain message itself. Chain messages are a prank or a joke that no one should take seriously. You don't need to worry about deleting it from your inbox or flat out ignoring it if you have no interest. Especially if these myths are circulating in your club or schools, it's not uncommon for someone to swear that they have hauntings or other strange things from participating in a chain message. It is very similar to people watching live ghost hunting shows or movies on demonic possession. Based on true stories, report weird encounters. These feelings of someone watching you or a horrible nightmare are psychological phenomena. When you get worked up about particular subjects, it does impact your psyche a bit, making you jumpier and more than normal and hindering your reasoning a bit. While you don't need to worry about ancient curses and creepy ghosts, chain messages are not without any dangers. Chain messages are an effective platform for cybersecurity threats. Imagine someone managed the code of virus or phishing a link into a particular letter. All they have to do is send it to some people, and the worried recipients take care of passing the message along with other potential victims at an exponential rate. Be sure to learn how to tell whether or not an email is fake or before trusting links or files. While not everyone will fall for clicking on a suspicious link or downloading a sketchy file, there are bound to be a few people along the chain message journey that will give in. Even chain messages sent on social media platforms like Facebook Messenger may contain bugs that lead you to deal with hacker accounts then end up spamming your friends list. Also be sure not to fall for phishing scams. Some messages ask you to share seemingly harmless answers that turn out to be common passwords or security questions. Chain mail is nothing to worry about any more than a fictional horror movie or scary game. They aren't magical spells or scary curses that will put you in danger or give you riches. If you find one make its way into your inbox or chat app, consider ignoring it if you aren't a fan of the genre of entertainment. Those who love everything crime and urban legend may feel free to enjoy the stories without needing to worry about their lives or the ones they love at any risk. It's interesting that the fascination with train messages often deal within the paranormal or within crime. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. Until next time.